All right, guys, this is Quentin with Lawn Care Accelerator podcast. Today, joining me, I have Cody Owen.
Yeah.
You are actually in Plano, Texas, I think.
Yes. Yeah. Roughly the Dallas area.
Okay. But yeah, Cody Owen is the owner. What's your company?
Light
Lightspeed.
Lightspeed Social Agency.
That's right, Lightspeed Social Agency. And I'm not going to try and tell people what you do. I'm going to let you handle that. But I think it's basically, just kind of like Facebook, Instagram ads to increase business and route density, I think, as well.
Yeah. So we describe ourselves like as a full stack marketing solution for lawn care and landscaping businesses. So you come to us and we are your whole marketing department. So not just Facebook and Instagram, we do Google ads, we do all of the organic posting. We'll help you optimize your website and get some SEO stuff going there, but also just like usability for anybody who's coming in and making sure that we're optimizing for them to request a quote for whatever service you're advertising. So we are end to end. We'll help you design flyers to match your digital ads so that we can go like old school and new school at the same time. So we are end to end on marketing for lawn care and landscaping businesses.
So like actually designing like postcards, mailers, stuff like
Yeah.
that, door hangers.
Yeah, because our goal is for you to have like a unified campaign so that when someone sees the flyer, it looks like the way your truck is wrapped. It looks like the ad they saw on Instagram when they were in line at Starbucks. Because we want as much as possible for them to connect those touches so that we can get you closer to making the sale with them.
Cool. So tell me a little bit about Lightspeed. Like, how long have you guys been in business? What brought you to start Lightspeed, and maybe a little bit about yourself as well, like kind of like your background.
Yeah. So I grew up in Houston, came to Dallas to go to the University of Texas at Dallas and got a, super useful history degree. At a school dedicated to engineering and computer science. I was in the musty, falling apart history department building. So while I was finishing up school there, I got a job answering the phones at Service Autopilot. I had a friend that worked there and he referred me in, and I didn't know that like that job answering the phones and doing technical support was going to like fully change the trajectory of my life. But that was where I met Jonathan Potoshnik. At the time, the business was small enough that he was still the final interview for every candidate. And so when I told him that I had an interest in writing during that, he was kind of like, oh, have you considered marketing? And so I worked in the support department for a little while, but with an eye toward getting into the marketing department there, which at the time was one person. And so I started working on marketing. My big project when I first got onto the team was taking old Lawn Care Millionaire YouTube videos that had performed really well and converting them into blog posts for our website. So I did just like drinking from a fire hose of learning lawn care marketing from someone who built a $10 million business, even like before Google ads were a necessity, let alone Facebook ads. So I was learning all of these very like, Jonathan's very into like Dan Kennedy, these direct selling models. And so then I'm reading those books and I'm going deeper and I'm just getting all of this like really good marketing foundation for lawn care and landscaping. And then I was asked if I would go take a course and take on the Facebook ads for the business. And so I start learning Facebook at a really high level. I told you before we started recording that one day I pulled the amount I had spent on Facebook ads that year, and it was more than the value of my house. And so I had a moment of like, oh man, I'm, really working a lot on Facebook ads. And so I'm learning how to use Facebook at a pretty high level. And I had all of these tactics sort of swirling in my brain of these like physical real world tactics to grow a lawn care business. And I just started drawing connections and talking to guys in the industry. I was hosting the podcast at the time for Service Autopilot. So I was getting to go out to guys' shops and talk to them about their marketing and be like, hey, what do you think about this? And then I remember I was in Shreveport and a lawn care business owner was showing me these hiring ads that he was running, and he was using really, really tight targeting. And it was the first time that someone had shown me overlapping an exclusion zone on Facebook ads over an inclusion zone to make it even smaller. And he was running ads, he was running hiring ads targeting his competitors' shops. So it was like, what's it like to work at XYZ lawn care company? And it would just run to the guys that were in the building.
Wow.
So a really cool tactic. But then I was like, well, if you can do that to a building, you could do it to a subdivision. And so I knew a lot about the importance of route density. And I tried to find a marketing agency because I wanted to get them
real
to get...
quick.
Oh, go ahead.
He was just focusing on a building?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, and I've done that for when we first started. We hadn't like fully narrowed to just lawn care and landscaping. And so we did some stuff for cleaners in like more urban, dense areas. And we were targeting like individual apartment towers for them.
That is crazy. I had no idea that you could get that targeted.
It's wild. They've changed things a little bit since then. Like that was kind of the like true Wild West of that. But it is still, you can still get targeted really tightly. You're just going to hit people who have recently been in that area. Mm-hmm. So you might, for our purposes of running lawn care ads, you might hit another lawn care company that their employees come through the neighborhood. You might hit, the residential cleaners that come through, someone dropping off their kids for a play date. You can't just do people who live there anymore, but you can target just that subdivision and not the mini mall on the corner, or the old folks home, whatever it is that you want to eliminate, the apartments across the street. Mm-hmm. You can't eliminate those things still. So it is really, really powerful, and it mirrors doing door hangers or flyers. So if you are like a hardcore Mike Yandy's guy and you want to drop, 10,000 flyers in a week, you can mirror that with your Facebook ads and then hammer those people with digital touches after you get the physical touch on them. You can even word the ads like, hey, we left a flyer on your door and we haven't heard from you about it, and try to get them to, be reminded and click through and request the quote from there.
Yeah, because if they see, if a homeowner constantly sees your business, your name or whatever, like that's going to get stuck in their brain, right?
Yeah.
And they're going to be more likely maybe on that second time or that third time or that fourth time to actually maybe pick up the phone and either call you or text you or visit your website.
Yeah. Whatever your call to action is, the stat is that it takes like 8 to 10 touches to close a sale.
Okay.
And so I want you to automate as many of those touches as possible before you're on the phone with someone. I want them to be, this really helps get rid of tire kickers because they tire kick on the ad instead of on the phone with you wasting your time. So that's my goal, is to get you as close to that 8 to 10 so that you're only talking to the people who are close to converting.
Okay. So as far as running ads, what kind of businesses do you like? Are you just strictly lawn care? Do you do landscaping?
We do lawn care and landscaping exclusively.
Okay.
So maintenance guys, usually it starts to make sense when you have some upsells in addition to mowing. So if you're doing mulch, weed and fert, just a few other things. I know that a lot of times when a business is exclusively mowing, the margin is just a little bit tighter, and the ability to come in with the kind of ad spend it takes to move the needle is tough. But if you've got the ability that we can come in and also like write an email campaign to your existing clients and push them to get you more mulch jobs, to get you more aeration jobs, then we're able to like bring up that average client value. and that helps a lot in like justifying paying for marketing.
Yeah, so you can actually create email campaigns to, like, say, my existing customers to try and upsell them.
Yeah.
Okay, because a lot of my customers. I do aerating, fertilizing, overseeding, all that stuff. A lot of my customers, they do those services, once or twice a year. Definitely not all of them, but it's good to know that a company is out there that would be able to, create an email campaign to, hopefully try and bring in more. Because, man, I tell you, last fall I bought a used, it's used, but it's new to me, a ride-on aerator, and
Ooh, cool.
yeah, it was the coolest thing in the world to me. Like, not having to, walk behind, a heavy piece of machinery, like, because just aerating just beats your body up so much differently than, mowing does. But, just being able to, bring on, more aerating customers would be huge, because it's a huge money maker.
Yeah. And it's like, it's one of those things that the homeowner can see happened because the plug's laying in the yard. Like it looks like, oh, something's been done. When someone comes home and you've sprayed their lawn and they see the little flag or whatever, like you could also just stick the little flag in the lawn. They'll notice if their yard's full of weeds or if it doesn't green up in a few days. But like getting home and seeing that your lawn has been aerated, as I sold my home a couple years ago, but when I had the lawn aerated, I mean, it benefited the lawn a lot, where I could see, I know I'm like preaching to the choir here, but like when I could see, man, my soil was like really compact. I bought a dethatcher and dethatched the whole lawn and then had it aerated. And man, my lawn like just came to life.
Would you hire someone to dethatch your lawn?
I mean, probably in the
Yeah.
future. I don't remember. I think I got rid of my dethatcher in the move.
'Cause
But I just bought a
just
little cheap like Sun Joe.
Yeah, because I did it once for this one guy I worked for, like, back in like 2004, and I did not like it. And I can just only imagine, like, being a homeowner, depending on how big the property is, like going out and, like, doing that yourself. But it's good to know, there's a company out there that can, definitely market that for those people that do. I don't do dethatching. I guess I should get into it, because I've heard, like, people make a lot of money doing it, but
Well, and the cool thing there is that it really changes the color of the lawn.
Yeah.
Like by exposing the soil, it goes to, it's green and brown from the earth versus like green and yellowy white underneath. But yeah, so we would write email campaigns for existing clients because that's a free way to get back in front of your clients. You've already got their emails for billing stuff. So we reach out to them. What I recommend people do is like sit down with an annual calendar and write down like your start dates for each service, and then back up from that about 5 weeks and put it on the calendar that you're going to plan the campaign. That will give you like a week to write any emails that need to be written, 3 to 5 for each service. And then you want those emails to start going out. Like the early bird one would go out like 4 weeks before you want service to start. And then, send one out the following week. And then, just like one each week leading up to it, and do kind of a last call a week before service is supposed to start. And really like push your clients. The thing that is great about getting people to buy into more services with your business is that each service that you're doing for them is going to enhance all of the others. And what I mean by that is like their lawn's going to look better if they have it aerated, if they're doing weed and fert, in addition to regular maintenance. They get mulch in. They're going to drive past the front of their house and they're going to be like, wow, it looks really good.
Yeah.
It makes it easier to get a 5-star review out of them, which like a big thing I try to emphasize to people is that marketing is a like reciprocal system. in the business. So by upselling your clients, you make them more likely to give you a good Google or Facebook review, which then is going to make a potential lead more likely to go to your website. And if your website is optimized and going to convert, then you're going to get that person further into the funnel. They're going to request a quote. Like, all of these things work together to create a like vicious cycle of new customers and ascending your current customers into doing more business with you.
Yeah. Let me ask you, do you guys also, like, can you do stuff with like Christmas lights? Christmas light
Oh, yeah, for
advertising?
sure.
Okay.
Yeah, we're working with a company in St. Louis right now. They're launching a Christmas light division. And so we're trying to get like ahead of the curve for them. And so we're already starting to write their email campaigns to do like a super early bird before like late August, early September, to be like, hey, Christmas lights are coming. You should be thinking about it. They're going to be doing some like trailer wraps with Christmas lights pretty early so that we can get people to start thinking about it, and, you know, hopefully get some early signups if we do like an offer, a little bit of a discount really early. But yeah, I mean, Christmas lights are one of my favorite things to sell because the creative for it just like makes itself, because all I need is a photo of like, you know, you do your house early and take a picture of it, or send me some pictures from last year. But like, Christmas lights always look great. So the before and after is always really dramatic, and people love to be able to buy a thing that's just going to make them happy.
Yeah. I drove around last December with my daughter in Cherry Hills Village, which is like, you know, upscale, you know, $1 million homes. And some of the displays that we drove by were just insane. And I can only imagine, you know, the job being 30, 40, 50, 60, $80,000 even, you know. But the reason why I asked that is because I just recently became friends with a guy on Facebook. His name's Ken, but he's up in Fort Collins, or no, he's north of Denver, Thornton, yeah. But anyway, he commented on one of my replies, and, you know, I think he said he did like $350,000 in Christmas lights.
Wow.
Last year, and, you know, he's you know, hoping to do more this year.
Yeah, and the margins on Christmas lights are great.
Yeah, that's what he said too. And I've always wanted to get into Christmas lights, but I have like no idea what to do. I mean, yeah, you hang up lights, you know, but as far as like designing and all that stuff. But I was asking him because, you know, I imagine that, you know, you probably had to get that stuff out pretty quickly, or as like, when do you have to get that stuff out?
Yeah, so you want to be like full-throatedly marketing that by like October, because you want to, once Halloween hits, and then going into Thanksgiving, like, you're kind of having that mad rush of holidays. So you want your go-getters who are gonna, like, you know, go ahead and sign a contract with you before Halloween, is really ideal. Like, getting them to sign up in the fall, and then, you know, whenever you want your install date to be, you know, obviously some people would be like, I don't want them up before Thanksgiving. But
They're putting Christmas decorations up in November, and
but you just want to like stack your install dates, and you can have two windows where you're like, hey, are you okay with them going up in November? If they are, then like, that's just a whole extra window you get to book work.
well, I mean, and all you have to do to turn them on is flip a switch, right? It's not like,
Yeah.
you know, it's not like you put them up and they're always on.
Yeah.
How much time would you guys actually need? So if you know, you're wanting this stuff to go out in October, you said, like, when would someone want to, you know, get with you and start the ball rolling on a marketing campaign?
Yeah, I mean, I would think that we would want the best case scenario, which is not usually what happens, is like a month of runway before we want things going out. And the real reason for that is that you're able to, you know, no one's in a panic. And so we're able to, you and I could meet, we could talk about what you already have, if you already have like paper stuff that's going out. And so then we want the digital ads to match that. We can go back and forth. There can be edits. Whereas if you come to me and we need the campaign live in 10 days, there's going to be a little less back and forth and a little more like, hey, I've got this made for you and I really hope you like it because we don't have time to take it again.
Yeah. I'm going to be scheduling my aerating, fertilizing, and overseeding for like late September.
Mm-hmm.
When would you need to meet with me for that stuff? Is that kind of like the same time frame
Yeah,
as
so
the
we would
Christmas
want,
lights?
probably like 3 weeks
Okay.
of runway just to make sure that, we're able to go back and forth. If you're going to do flyers or something, I want you to have time to like get the design from me and then get it to a printer, so that you're not having to like pay rush fees to the
Mm-hmm.
printer. So a lot of stuff in the timeline, we just have to build in that, lawn care business owners are busy, especially if you're operating in the field and stuff, where I just know that I'm going to send something and then I'm going to text and I'm going to maybe call and then I'm going to hear back a few days later. So some of it can be sped up just if you know that you're the kind of owner who's like super responsive and on top of that, then we can compress that timeline. But I always try to give us a little bit of wiggle room so that if you want some edits made, whatever. But we can, during the spring rush, when we're like spooling people up for just like mowing ads, we'll have people live in 7 days.
Wow. Okay. As far as like the types of businesses, like is there a certain size or a certain revenue level that you guys like to target, or is it kind of just open to like anyone that really kind of wants to grow and gain more customers?
So I think that there is a budget level where it makes more sense to do it DIY, and keep it in house. Um, we are like definitely not the cheapest lawn care marketing solution. Definitely the cheapest solution is to, learn how to do all of the tools yourself and pull the levers. Um, so I want people to get a good return on their investment. And if you're paying me $1,000, $2,000 a month to be your marketing department, and then we only have $300 left to do ad spend with, you're not going to get a good return on that unless you have like a huge email list, and that's our main focus. So we want people in the door that it makes sense for the business. I never want someone coming in who like, they're over leveraging themselves to work with us because they like the strategy, because I'm very open about all of the strategy that we use and give away a lot of stuff for free that people can use. And so I'd rather them, hit up the YouTube channel, Lightspeed Social Agency, and learn from there and implement some things themselves and see success. And then when they can afford to get it off their plate, I hope that they would, do us the honor of coming our way. But
Would you guys be a good fit for someone who's like maybe not, if they're just starting out? I mean, like, does it depend how much money they have to spend? Like maybe they want to get into lawn care. They have some money to invest, and they kind of want to like hit the ground running and go from 0 customers, which they have right now, up to 80, 90, which is a full week for 1, 2 guys.
yeah, so we've worked with a couple of startups that was like, the owner was coming in, they had a certain amount of money to invest in the business, and they allocated money for, the marketing management side, which is us, and then the ad spend side, which goes directly to Facebook, Google, whoever we're running ads with. And so we were able to help them spool up maintenance and get things going. And then we're part of our model that makes us different than a lot of agencies is that we have the only agreement you have with us is a 3-month commitment up front, and then it's month to month after that. So this startup business owner, where like they're trying to run a little bit lean because they don't have infinite money, and the business is, what wasn't currently generating revenue when we came on. They stayed on for the 3 months. That put us right into summer when they were ready to just put their heads down and service the clients that had come in. And so they're planning to come back in the spring to do it again. But a lot of agencies will try to lock you in forever. They'll do annual contracts, which I'm not a huge fan of because of how seasonal a lot of lawn care businesses are.
Yeah.
Or they will do hey, if you ever leave, you can't come back.
Really?
And yeah, and I am not a really big fan of that sort of thing that feels like hostage taking instead of like us, we're both making money, so everyone's happy.
Well, yeah, like why would you turn down that money?
Their position would be that they're going to make more money by holding a gun on you and not letting you leave, which is just not how I want to do business. But that's how a lot of the bigger agencies will work.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that if you're bigger, you can I guess afford to do what you want, and that's what they want to do, I guess. So as far as like let's say next spring, someone just starting out, or even let's next year is going to be my 5th year.
Mm-hmm.
When do I need to reach out to you to get the ball rolling for either spring services or like pick up new customers? Because I'm definitely looking right now. I have around 60. Next year, I'd like to obviously get more than that, just make more money. So that's kind of what the question is. What do I need to do? When do I need to do it?
Yeah, I would say 4 weeks before you want to start selling would be a great time to send an email, schedule a call, and we can figure things out from there. So I'm in Texas and we start mowing in like March. So, guys here in our zone will start reaching out in late January, early February. But I know that you'll still be under a mountain of snow. So, just when it starts to make sense that you're like, ooh, we need to start thinking about selling is when you want to talk to me a few weeks before that so that we can get you on the schedule and get things figured out.
So walk me through a process of someone reaching out to you. Like what do they email you? Do they call you? Do they text you? Do they visit your website? Do you guys have a website?
Yeah.
Like kind of explain that whole process to me.
Yeah. So we have lightspeedsocialagency.com. We've got a, contact form on the homepage where you can reach out. And that goes straight to my inbox. The phone number on the website is the iPhone that I am using to record this. So that's always in my pocket. So I am very accessible. You can send us a Facebook message. We're on YouTube. So we're very accessible. The main way you come in is through the form on the website because that's just, collects a little bit of information about you. And if you're interested in the system that I was talking about, where we create this like reciprocal marketing system that feeds itself, we have a checklist for that'll help you kind of do an audit yourself of your marketing. That I can send you the link so that we can throw it in the show notes here. But it just kind of walks you through like, hey, when you're looking at your website, do you have these things happening? When is your Google My Business profile set up and filled out and accurate? Is your Facebook profile set up? So just like a checklist you can go through to be on a good footing where there's a lot less cleanup that, when you come to an agency and you need some help with your marketing, you've already got a good foundation built, and then they're just improving from there.
Okay.
So that marketing system that I'm talking about and kind of the checklist is a self-audit, but we are also, more than happy to do a call where I would talk through your marketing with you. And I do this with guys who they call me, they tell me, hey, I know that I can't afford service right now, and I will still spend an hour on the phone with guys. So like, don't let being too small or not having the, flashy revenue keep you from scheduling one of those. Because my goal is that I am as big a help in the industry as I can be, and that, putting all of that out into the industry will bring people in who can afford to be customers now, and that's great. And some people can't, and we help them, and then hopefully by following the strategies that we talk through, one day you are big enough to get it off your plate and send it over to us. But yeah, I mean, that's the kind of thing that we're doing on the YouTube channel, on our podcast, where I'd love to have you on to talk about some Colorado stuff, because I don't know that we've had anyone who can do snow on the podcast. So that would be fun.
I have a couple people that are a little bit bigger than me on snow that, I could maybe definitely hook you up with. I'm more than happy to be on it, talking about what I know and what I do. But, yeah.
Yeah, get you on in the fall, right before people need to be selling those snow contracts.
Yeah. So, are you guys going to be going to do you guys go to Equip Expo at all or anything?
Oh man, I've been at Equip like every year except 2020 for like 6-7 years.
Okay. Are you guys going to be there this year?
Yeah, so we won't have a booth,
okay.
But I'll be there.
You'll be there? All right. We'll have to meet up there and meet each other in person, and maybe even record another show out there too.
Yeah, for sure. I think that I'll have to touch base with like Naylor and Paul, but I think that there's going to be a like upstairs podcast lounge again where it's a little bit quiet and we can record stuff up there.
Okay.
So yeah, I'll let you know.
Yeah, because last year I interviewed Brian from Brian's Lawn Maintenance on the show floor, and it was someone almost knocked over my camera, and like people were walking in front of it, and it was like loud, and yeah, it was.
Somebody pushes a stroller into you.
Yeah, it was cool, but it was just like when you have a several $1,000 camera that's sitting on a tripod, and people are bumping into it, and you just see it kind of like tip over and then go back. You're like, ah. So yeah, all right. So Cody, I appreciate your time and being on the show and the podcast. I'll put links in the description, and you can reach out to Cody if you guys are if that's something you're interested in as far as like a whole marketing campaign. Definitely check him out, and I'm sure I'd love to help you guys out and make some money.
Yeah. Quentin, thanks for having me, man. I appreciate it.
Yeah. All right, guys. Yeah, that's going to be it for this one. Hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, hit that like button. Also subscribe to the podcast or the channel. And we'll catch you next one, guys. Later.